Good evening, everyone, and welcome to today's Brno Expo Center webinar. The Brno Expo Center is a public service funded by the city of Brno, where we provide support to foreign professionals. This webinar is part of our regular series helping internationals understand the Czech legal and administrative environment. My name is Marek Singer, and today we'll be talking about subleasing, a topic that might seem simple at first, but can become surprisingly complicated in practice. We'll first go through the key information and then open the floor for your questions. But before we get into that, let me first introduce our guest, Kateřina Hájková from hwlegal. Hi, Katka. Katka is a lawyer who's been helping many tenants and landlords in Brno, apart from other things. And Katka, I would just like to thank you for joining us and maybe share something about what you do.
Yeah, so thank you for having me. And I'm an attorney from my law firm, hwlegal. We provide legal services for internationals and locals living in Brno. And we help with family law issues, leasing, labor law, or even with criminal law.
Right, that's quite a record. So thank you for introducing you, and let's get into our webinar. We decided to do this webinar because many expats come to us after signing sublease contracts that don't give them the same protection as regular lease, as we will talk about later. And our goal today is to help you understand what subleasing actually means, how to avoid common pitfalls, and when it might be the right option for you. Feel free to write your questions in the comments. We will answer them once we're done with the explanation. If you want your questions to be anonymous, please use our StreamYard platform for this type of question. Katka, let's start with the basics. Many people use the words lease and sublease as if they were the same. Could you explain the main difference?
Of course. So lease is a contract between the owner, the landlord, and the tenant. Whereas sublease is a contract between the tenant and another person, subtenant. So the owner is not directly in this contract, which is why the rights of the subtenant are limited. Civil code rules on leases protecting the tenants, there is quite a lot of these protecting rules, only apply only partly to the subleases.
So basically when you sublease, you're renting from someone who's already renting, not from the actual owner.
Yeah, that's right.
And so I guess that makes a big legal difference, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So Katka, when could subleasing actually be useful or even necessary?
So generally, I advise my clients against signing sublease agreements when they are looking for long-term housing. Sublease arrangements are often used to give landlords greater flexibility with ending the sublease, and actually sublease may end sooner than the tenant expects. For instance, the agreement might stay a 3-year term, but if the main lease ends earlier, the sublease will automatically terminate as well on that day. Sublease can be useful, for example, in urgent housing situations such as short-term stay, waiting for your own lease, or it can be helpful as a student housing or temporary work stays. It is quite useful for sharing flats with friends. And there is also one specific in the Czech Republic for so-called družstevní apartments, where there is a cooperative, družstvo in Czech, and that is a legal person owning the building and leasing the apartments to its members, who can then sublet the apartment to someone else. So if you're not a member of the cooperative, you can only sublease the apartment.
Right, right. So in short, subleasing can be practical in emergencies when you urgently need to have somewhere to live, and guess especially for its flexibility, right? But it's not ideal for long-term security, as it generally puts the subtenant into a weaker position legally. Is that right?
Yeah, that is correct. And I would only add that the flexibility is only for the benefit of the landlord, not for the subtenant. Or it is also the benefit of the tenant, but it is not greater flexibility for you if you are a subtenant.
Right. All right. So now to the tricky part. What are the main risks that people should be aware of before signing a sublease contract?
Yeah. So if you live in a flat as a tenant, it is a lease. Civil code gives you quite strong protection. For example, if even if your lease contract says no pets allowed, that clause is invalid and you are still allowed to have a pet in the flat. Or if your landlord puts into the lease contract a clause that they can kick you out without any legal reason, that also does not apply. The law protects you here. But if you are in the same flat as a subtenant, it is different. These protections don't automatically apply. So whatever is written in your sublease contract really matters because it is valid. If the agreement allows the main tenant to end your stay immediately and even without reason, it is valid because the civil code does not step in to protect you in the same way as it would if you were a tenant. That's why reading the sublease contract carefully is essential, especially before signing it. Also, I would add that a subtenant cannot register their permanent residence or temporary residence with the OAMP without the owner's written consent in the flat. The same applies to you if you want to register your business address in the flat. You need to get the written consent.
Oh, all right. Well, when you're saying that, we've actually seen several expats who couldn't register their address because the owner didn't even know about the sublease. So that's a quite big risk for your residents. And let me just wrap it up. So unlike tenants, subtenants aren't automatically protected by the civil code. Am I right?
Yeah, that's right.
And so that means that everything depends on what's written in the contract. Even rules that would normally be illegal in a regular lease can apply here. And without the owner's consent, subtenants can't register their residence or business address in the place.
Yes, and I would maybe frame it like this. If you're a tenant, then there is a standard of rights in the civil code, and these cannot be reduced by the lease agreement. But if you're a subtenant, this standard of rights does not apply to you, so it can be basically reduced depending on what is in the sublease contract.
Okay. Thank you. Is there something else that we should look out for?
Yeah. So sublease can never last longer than the main lease. So if the main lease ends, your sublease automatically ends on the same day. The tenant should inform you about it, but legally the sublease just expires. During the lease period, the sublease can also end in other ways depending on what's written in the sublease contract. If the contract says it can be ended immediately without reason, that's possible. If there is no automatic legal protection. So if the contract doesn't say anything about how to end it, then in this situation, the general rules from the civil code about regular leases do apply, but again, only until the main lease ends.
So in short, your sublease always depends on the main lease.
Yeah.
And if the main tenant's contract ends, your sublease ends too?
Even if you didn't do anything wrong. That's right.
All right. That's a big surprise. And so unless
that often is.
I can imagine. And so unless your contract says otherwise, it can sometimes be ended immediately and without reason. So I guess it's worth checking how the agreement defines termination before you sign, right?
Yeah, that's important.
So what about the structure of the landlord, tenant, subtenant? What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so the relationship is layered like this. It's the owner of the flat, the tenant, and the subtenant. If the tenant lose their lease, you as subtenant lose yours too. You cannot object or stay longer. You have no claims against the owner. Yeah. This setup is sometimes misused by certain companies that act as middlemen between the owner and the subtenant. So they hold the main lease, but their contracts or the general terms and conditions that apply to it, they let them end it instantly, which means that your sublease ends at that moment too. Yeah. Another common issue is with deposits and utility overpayments. So if the tenant, the person, the company you are renting from stops communicating after the end of your sublease or they go bankrupt, it's very difficult for you to get your money back. You have no direct claim against the flat owner in these cases.
Right. So basically, you're one step further from the owner, which means less control over what happens.
Yeah.
And if the tenant or the agency that you mentioned between you and the landlord loses their lease, that means you lose your home too.
Yeah.
And if they disappear or go bankrupt, it can, I guess, almost be impossible to get your deposit or bills refunded. And
it can be hard.
Right. So I guess it's crucial to know who you're really signing with.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. Well, moving on. Maybe let's talk something about prevention. All right. So, Katka, what can people do to protect themselves before signing a sublease?
Yeah. So before signing anything, read the whole contract carefully, especially the parts about notice period, deposit returns, repairs, or the utilities. Yeah. If you're renting through a company, don't skip the small print in their terms and conditions. Or if anything feels unclear, it's worth asking a lawyer to check it. Yeah. The recommendation about reading the whole contract carefully applies to any contract that you are about to sign.
Yeah, I mean, I was just thinking about that. I never read those terms and conditions, but I guess now I should start.
Yeah, it can be useful.
Okay.
So when we are talking about the sublease recommendations, make sure that the landlord knows and agrees with the sublease. Ideally, get that consent in writing. Subleasing without the owner's approval is allowed only if the main tenant actually lives in the flat as well. For example, if they rent out just one room. But if you are subleasing the whole apartment, it's a different case. So the landlord's written consent is mandatory. Yeah. Otherwise, the owner can terminate the main lease with 3 months' notice if he finds out, because it is a violation of the lease agreement to sublease it without the consent. Yeah. There is one more recommendation: keep a record and just keep records of all payments that you make. Use bank transfers, keep receipts, avoid verbal deals or undated contracts, because they are hard to prove later. Verbal deals and undated contracts are hard to prove at any situations.
Right.
So if there's any issue later on, it's good to have everything in written, or in emails.
Yeah, I guess it's the same with like reading all contracts carefully, also keeping record of all the communication. It's like we really don't usually do that. I know that with my landlord, I just, we talk about it and we just count that every side will be keeping up, but sometimes it might not be the case, and then I guess for my own protection, I should always communicate via like written text. Right?
Yeah, that's right.
So, okay, for me, what I take from it is that it's really about transparency, making sure all three sides know what's going on, be it the owner, the tenant, and the subtenant.
Yes, that's right.
All right, you agree with me. Great. So we're getting to the end of our webinar. Let's wrap up quickly. So subleasing can be useful short-term, but it carries real risks. You should always read your contract carefully, not just your lease contract or sublease contract, and confirm the landlord's consent that they are okay with you being there. And also, thirdly, if something feels unclear, ask before you sign. Always ask, or just make sure you understand. And if you don't understand, you can always reach out to Brno Expo Center for guidance, or even better, contact Katka Hájková directly if you need legal advice, because she is experienced in all kinds of legal advices. So Katka, I would like to thank you once again for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Always, it was great being with you here. And now we have time for your questions. Please use the chat, and I'll read those questions aloud. But I can see that there's no questions so far. So maybe we can move on to some like potential questions that maybe someone would ask if they were like, because we have like some situations when we know something happened, right? So for example, can I register my temporary residence at an address if I have only a sublease contract?
You need to get the written consent of the flat owner. Then you can register temporary residence.
All right. So and how does the consent look like? Like, is it like just a regular affidavit?
Yeah.
Like just neprohlášení?
There should be notarized signature by the flat owner.
Oh.
Notarized,
So it has to be,
it has to be
authenticated.
Authenticated. That's right.
Right. Okay. Good to know. And so what happens if the main tenant ends their lease? Can I still stay there?
No, your sublease ends on that day as well. Yeah, so you have to clear the apartment and you have to go away. Of course, there is one possibility for you, and that is contacting the flat owner and trying to get a lease agreement from him. Yeah, if you sign a lease agreement with the flat owner on that day, when your sublease is supposed to end, then you can continue using the flat. Yeah, but always the flat owner needs to agree with it. Yeah, and otherwise you cannot stay in the flat. Right.
So and does the tenant on which my sublease depends, does the tenant have to inform me, or like is it his goodwill that he will inform me that his contract is ending?
Yeah, he should inform you. So for example, if he gets a notice and he knows that in 3 months he is supposed to clear out the apartment, he should inform you about it, and he should inform you about the length of the notice period. So you should be able to specify the day on which you are supposed to leave the flat at the latest. Yeah, and so what I can imagine is that if the tenant fails to inform you in time, and then you, for example, have higher costs because you have to move from the flat from day to day, then you can ask him for damages if you have any damages because of having to move out without any previous information. Yeah, but you still need to move out.
All right. So
not so if the tenant does not inform you in time, it does not affect your obligation to clear out the apartment.
Right. But I can then ask for some like refunds maybe if I connect with you as a lawyer, you can maybe help me to get my rights back.
That's right. I can imagine, for example, like every situation is different, but I can imagine that if you find out today that you as a subtenant need to move out of the flat today, you will have to book a hotel, which you wouldn't have to book if you knew earlier and you just moved out in time to another flat.
All right. Good to know. So I guess I cannot still see any of your comments. So I guess everything was clear today. But if it wasn't clear, or if you have some following questions, you can always contact us or Katka. So let me introduce Brno Expo Center again. So Brno Expo Center is a public service that is dedicated to helping foreign professionals in making their way in the Czech legal and administrative environment. We help with all kinds of things from leases and lease contracts to visa and immigration and residence to business related topic. And also I would also like to highlight what Katka does again. Katka, your full name is Kateřina Hájková,
That's
right? But I guess for foreigners it's good to call you Katka, since
it's hard to
it's
pronounce.
not that well pronounced or that easy to pronounce for foreigners. And you are a lawyer who is actually, how long are you a lawyer?
So my legal company, my law firm, HW Legal, is about 1.5. It's been 1.5 a year working.
All right. So I guess in the 1.5 year you've got quite some experience.
Well, I have also previous experience from 2 law firms in Brno, but now that I set up my own law firm, I provide legal services for internationals and also for locals living in Brno, and I focus on family law issues, leasing, labor, or criminal law. So you can contact me with any of these issues, and I would be happy to help.
Yeah. Great. So I think we managed to explain everything. Katka, thank you once again for all. Thank you for your cooperation. Thank you for being here with us. And I am hoping that we once again meet at some other webinar.
I would be happy. It's an honor to be here.
Thank you. All right. Have a great evening, and see you again. Bye bye.
Bye bye.